Oh man. So Adrian Broner's trying to be tough. You know what I mean? Adrian Broner's coming out talking about I ain't fighting unless I get $10 million for my next fight. I'm not fighting unless I get $10 million for my next fight. I'm a rapper now. Well, ironically, Adrian Broner could have put himself into a space where that actually could be true. You're talking about a man that he came into the scene and he was well known. He was being pushed. He was doing high viewerships, everything. There's multiple things that he could have done. If he was focused, he was disciplined, he could have stayed down at 130, 135 pounds, and just dominated over there. And he could have stayed there for a very, very long time, and he was physically very strong at that weight class. The way he used to catch people, he used to stay putting people down onto the body. You know what I mean? Look at that DeMarco fight. DeMarco was supposed to be that fight that was supposed to really be tough for him. He was taking on the number one guy in the division. A lot of people picked him actually to lose that fight. They thought it was going to be a tough fight. And he just beat the bricks out that boy. He beat the brakes off that boy and stopped him in dramatic fashion. So he could have stayed down there and did some things down there and put himself into a space where everybody could have been chasing him because he would have been the big money fight. He could have fought even a Terrence Crawford and beat a Terrence Crawford at 135 pounds. People forget that Terrence Crawford wasn't physically necessarily as strong like that. He used to cut down and drain down to that weight. So there were certain guys that would last him 12 rounds against him. They had no business lasting 12 rounds against him. We saw when he got caught, against the Cuban, forget his name right now, and started shaking. He almost got put out. He almost got stopped in that particular fight. But then he caught that boy, Gamboa, and ended up knocking him the hell out. So that's even a fight that he could have won. Mikey Garcia ended up coming up to 135 pounds. You're seeing all these young kids coming up to 135 pounds now. The Teofimo Lopez's would have had to have gone through him, with him being a strong veteran at that weight. That could have been a big fight for him. The Devin Haney's could have been big fights for him. He had all these different fights. Lomachenko would have been a big fight for him. He actually had a lot of big fights that he could have had at that particular weight class, and just made a load of money doing there. But even with the path that he took, there's one thing he could have done that could put him to a space where he could say, I'm cool, I don't need that. Give me my $10 million, I'm not fighting. That would have been being smart with the money that he did make, because he made a substantial amount of money, and he made a whole lot more money than people think. Remember, these guys get their television rights. These guys get the gates. These guys get a huge part of the concessions. These guys get a huge part of the merchandise that is sold to Al Heyman. A huge part of it. So if he was intelligent with it, if he was smart with it, if he had saved that money, then yes, he would have been able to do things like that. And invested it correctly, because you have the people there that would have showed you how to invest your money, because there's a lot of people who have their money invested in the proper places that are with Al Heyman. J-Rock had over $1 million worth of real estate that was bringing him in money before the Jarrett Hurt fight. Before the Rosado fight, where he got what's called 7-figure payday. And this guy was pretty much fought on undercards. Most of the fights, you hadn't seen him since he fought with Al Heyman, because he didn't sign with Al Heyman until after the Charlo fight. He was signed to somebody else before that. Then the other dude had him kind of on the shelf, wasn't getting him any fights, and Al Heyman was able to get him out that contract, get him into good fights, and he was making enough to invest over $1 million worth of real estate. You're talking about $250,000 liquid cash you put down to get these properties. So imagine how much somebody like Adrian Broner was getting. He could have put a lot of money away. He could have invested in a lot of things that could have been bringing him money, where he could do that. There's no reason why, with the money that he's made in the sport, where he can't be having a high 6 or 7-figure monthly income coming in right now with the money that he made, if he invested it correctly. You look at somebody like a Danny Garcia. I remember when Adrian Broner pulled up, showed a picture of his Rolls Royce, $300,000-$400,000 he spent on that car. You know what I mean? Trying to stunt with it. And you see Danny Garcia come up. He put up a post, and he was talking about how he bought his G-Wagon. It was like $150,000. It was an AMG, right? And he was talking about how that car is going to depreciate too, by the way. You know what I mean? But then he talks about how then he took his, the other hundreds of thousands of dollars and he went himself and he bought himself properties that bring him a certain amount of money in every single month that he owns completely, and that over time is going to increase, when it comes to the value of it, while bringing in money on a consistent basis. That's why you see Danny just chilling. He's on his Scarface thing. He got this big, huge house that's paid for. He still got nice cars. But as he progresses, as he makes bigger paychecks, he might then elevate what he purchases as far as his fun stuff. But he's all elevating what he does as far as his business and his investments. So if someone like him wanted to just say, I'm good, and not fight for the rest of his life right now, he can't do it. But someone like an Adrian Broner, who you made these particular moves, not being on point with your weight, increasing your weight, going into these higher weight classes, and then taking loss after loss after loss after loss, even though you have these fans that support you, you doing that. And then on top of that, now you're also wasting all of your money. You're spending all of your money on BS. You're getting loans out. You're taking IOUs on jewelry. And you're getting sued because you owe these people like over $1 million worth in jewelry. $1 million. You can buy $4 million worth of, real estate. $4 million you can spend on commercial real estate that could be bringing you in, tens of thousands of dollars every single month. That's what he could have done. But he's trying to live that baller lifestyle. And when you're trying to live that baller lifestyle and you're on this weird, and you're putting yourself into a space where you're not going to be able to maintain the lifestyle that you have, you're not in a space where you can make demands like that. So he hasn't done anything to warrant necessarily getting a $10 million quote payday, unless you're going to the zone to fight someone like a Devin Haney. Then yeah, go get your damn $10 million, because with what people have been paying over there and what you bring to them over there and what their pay scale is, yes, you deserve $10 million to do something like that. So maybe they can do something like that for him over there, or get him a $7 million plus million like a Mikey Garcia got. But in general, absolutely not. If you want to be in a space where you can make demands like that, you got to do the right moves in order to do so. And he hasn't made those moves. So when that money gets tight and people start coming for that money again because he owes this for these jewels, and this car start to get repoed and this and that, and he's spending money in the clubs and on drugs and on his alcohol and on chicks and on the dumb ish, trying to live a Floyd Mayweather life without having Floyd Mayweather money, yeah, when it's time for your ass to fight, yeah, you're going to be coming back and getting whatever it is that they give you. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.